Hello, basketball fans. It's me, DC, here for Fantasy Basketball Analyzer to help you get ready for Week 19 of the fantasy basketball season by breaking down the waiver wire for you. We're going to talk about players available in at least 50% of Yahoo leagues so that it's widely helpful for most of you. But I do want to mention up front, I already did the Week 19 breakdown. I'll link it right here. On that, I did mention Cam Johnson. He's at like 56% now, so he's available in a lot of leagues, but over that threshold. And also, let's add to that list Daniel Gafford, 53% rostered. He's only got 3 games this week, one of them streaming, but if he's going to be starting and playing more, I think he should be picked up in more than half of leagues. Well, he's a little too high to talk about on this list. Go out and look for that because there's a good chance, Gafford just got 17 points and 6 rebounds against San Antonio. Like, there's a good chance that's going to help you more than some of the guys I go deep on in this video. In fact, last night he got 14 points and 7 rebounds, shot 77% from the floor because all his shots are in pretty close. I think you know what you're getting with Gafford, but I do think there's something reliable, while not flashy, and like I said, 53% rostered. You should go pick him up. All right, first on my list, available in at least half of leagues, O'Shea Brissett. I don't want to talk about this too much because we just talked about him in a prior video. He's 48% rostered, so he's still available making the cut. His last game was 10 points, 15 rebounds. Before that, he had 17 and 6. But he's also getting you steals and blocks. The last game, he got 2 steals and 2 blocks. Before that, 2 steals and a block. He's contributing a full stat sheet. His field goal percentage maybe isn't what you want if you're playing someone at power forward. If he's only shooting like 43%, that's not ideal for that position. But he does bring a lot of value. He will hit some threes, even though it's not every game. And Indiana has the minutes to give. We don't exactly know how the rotation is still going to work. They've got 4 games next week. One of them's on a good streaming day against Orlando starting Monday. You also love their matchups for the week, or at least I do. It's Orlando, Detroit, Washington. I'm not scared of any of those matchups. So even the other 3 that aren't on great streaming days, they're going to have a good chance against pretty good opponents for fantasy reasons. And that brings us to Isaiah Jackson, 36% rostered, same team, so same thing, right? One streaming, but he's got a 4-game week. There's only 11 teams that have the 4-game week, so that does bring a little value to these pickups. Jackson is back. He just got 17 and 6 with 5 blocks, shot 71% from the floor. I do not expect him to be getting 5 blocks. That would be crazy. The last handful of games, though, he has pretty reliably gotten you a block and a half on average, depending on how far we're going back to look on these averages. 36% rostered. I like either of these Indiana guys. I would pick them up. Continuing down the list, next I got Deni Avdija. Avdija is good, and we've talked about him before. I think he's going to get to grow a little in his role. His minutes probably aren't going to go up too much because he's playing in his mid-30s, and that's all you're really going to expect. Not age mid-30s, minutes mid-30s. That's all you're really going to expect. Last game he had 14 and 9 with a combined 3 if you put the steals and blocks together. Before that he had 13 and 8, same thing. Combined steals and blocks was worth 3. I think that's valuable in either categories or points leagues format. 34% rostered. He should be picked up in more situations. And on Yahoo, at least, he's shooting guard, small forward, and power forward eligible, which is nice because you can get him into more slots. Washington has only 3 games this week, and Tuesday against Detroit is the only good streaming day. But with the position eligibility that you can kind of slot him in other spots, you might be able to get him. And the other days he plays, 9 and 8 games aren't so overwhelming that you're for sure going to bench him. I think Denny's going to provide value for the rest of the year. And so he's high on this list, even though I've talked about him in recent videos. All right, beyond those names I've talked about before, we're getting a little more dart throwy, maybe short-term streamer ads. I like Bruce Brown with the Nets. I give him a look. 18% rostered right now. The last 2 games he's got you 15 points and 7 rebounds each, and these weren't cakewalk games. They're against Boston and against the Bucks, so they're pretty tough matchups. He's getting you assists as well. He's playing a lot of minutes right now. He's averaging like 35 minutes a game over the last couple of weeks. As long as that's continuing, I'm interested. He's only 18% rosters. You can pick him up in over 80% of leagues. And Brooklyn has a pretty good schedule next week. They've got 4 games, 3 of them on good streaming days. In fact, they start the week with a Monday, Tuesday back-to-back, home and home against Toronto. So I like the idea of picking up Bruce right now. If he continues this, he's going to help you out at the start of the week, and you can move off him either after the Tuesday game or after the Thursday game against Miami. You'll still have 3 days more where maybe you can pick up someone from Toronto or someone from the Bucks or something to combine Bruce with somebody and turn that into a 5-game week in that streaming slot for you. I think Brandon Goodwin from Cleveland's another interesting short-term ad. We know Rondo's going to be out for a couple of weeks. Garland wasn't playing. I don't know that it's going to be flashy, but he's contributing, especially in category league. His last game, just last night, he played Washington. He only had 8 points, but he actually 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and a steal. Before that, he had 15, 4, 5 with a steal with 2 3-pointers. The field goal percentage was really bad against Washington last night, 18%. That's not really what I expected, but you're only trying to pick him up as a short-term ad, right? Cleveland's got 4 games this week, so they're in that handful of teams that plays 4 games. They play Monday, which is a good streaming day, and they get to play Minnesota, which you're not too worried about that matchup. I would pick up Goodwin. Give it a go here. No, it's short term. Don't cut anyone major that you want for that. But if you're just trying to get some games out there, I think it's an interesting ad. He's only rostered in 4% of leagues, so he's available to pretty much anyone watching if you're just looking to slot someone in at point guard to start off the week and see what happens. On the other hand, if you want more of a scoring punch, I would give Luke Kennard a look. I know we've talked about him in prior weeks. I don't think he's a roster all year long, but it's a spot start thing. He's hot right now, and if you're looking for threes and points, I think it's worth a look. He just got 5 3-pointers for 18 points and 6 rebounds. I wouldn't count on those rebounds all the time, but game before that, 8 3-pointers for 25 points, 3 assists, 2 steals. I think somewhere in between those two is probably more likely. Around 20 points, 4 to 5 3-pointers, and then like 3 rebounds, 3 assists, something like that's kind of more what I would expect from him. He's 29% rostered, so you can pick him up in 70% of leagues. The Clippers only have a 3-game week, but 2 of them are on good streaming days, and I like the matchups because you get Houston, the Lakers, and the Knicks. Again, not teams I'm really afraid of. They can maybe slow you down, but he's getting more minutes right now that Norm Powell's hurt. Kennard's still coming off the bench, but his minutes are expanded. I think he's going to get high 20s, like 28 to 34 minutes a game is what I would expect for him. And in that time, he can put up a lot of threes and points. And he's got pretty good field goal percentage for a 3-point specialist, which is nice. You don't want someone who's just chucking them and missing and going to hurt you in the categories league. So Kennard sneaks into the end of the list. Again, I don't think it's a long-term ad, but whenever he's hot, he's going to catch my attention. Okay, 2 names. Throw on your watch list before I get going. First, Markelle Fultz is supposed to come back Monday, so tomorrow, maybe the time you're watching this, but tomorrow as of this recording, which I don't know he's going to have a ton of fantasy impact, but keep an eye on it. It's also just kind of fun to have something new to look forward to, watching an Orlando game and seeing what's going on with the Magic. So hopefully Fultz comes back. Hopefully he looks good. I think it's going to be a bench roll and not really a fantasy impact, but if I'm wrong, you want to be the first one to rush to that. The last guy on my watch list is Isaiah Roby, and if you're more excited about it, maybe you want to pick him up before that, but I'm not sure it's going to happen yet, so he's still watch list for me. Roby's only rostered in 7% of leagues, and he's playing well. It feels like OKC could potentially negotiate a buyout with Favors. I see that talk. In fact, M. Archibald left a comment asking me to talk about buyouts. I'm not sure it's going to happen unless they're just trying to do him a solid. OKC's actually below the salary cap floor, so they have to pay all their guys more money than they're actually owed on their contract to get over that salary cap floor, which doesn't really behoove them to be losing guys, right? I mean, it's cool if you work there and get more money than your contract. Sweet. But I'm not sure they're going to be getting rid of him. They still probably should shift to see what Roby can do. We've seen at the end of last season, Roby have some flashes that make him exciting. Right now, he's got, last game, 10 points, 11 rebounds on 28 minutes. Before that, he only had 9 points, 1 rebound. You don't want that. But before that, it was 17 and 12. So if that comes up there where you're counting on a double-double for a guy who's only 7% rostered, I want to bring him to your attention. If he pops this week, you might want to go get him before I can do next week's waiver show. That said, we only have 6 weeks left in the NBA. So I'm done with speculating on guys right now. I'm not trying to make moves to speculate. Either you're picking up someone because you think they might be back for the playoffs and you've locked up a top seed. That's a fine kind of speculation. But I'm done waiting on Poku and other guys I've talked about in the past. If they're not providing for you right now, your regular season has 2 to 3 weeks left. And then the playoffs, which are 3 to 4 weeks, depending on when your season cuts off. You want to be going out and trying to get wins right now. Look for the less exciting Bruce Brown and Brandon Good wins that are going to contribute to you to make sure you're getting wins now and in the playoffs. And you can watch the games for fun and check the box scores for what might happen for next year. But I'm not really looking for potential anymore. I'm looking for contributions. With that, I'm done with the waiver wire. If there's any names I missed you want to talk about, people you think I overlooked that maybe I just didn't agree with, go ahead and leave it in the comments. We can talk about it. Otherwise, I hope you're having a great weekend or start to your week depending on when you're watching it. And I want you to go out and win your week. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, please hit the like button and leave a comment down below. It helps me grow the channel. If you want more videos like this, hit subscribe or even the little bell will give you alerts. And I'll be back soon with another video for you.